Good play nanti daripada tu dalam dia batallah. My God, you. Oh, nice.
He'll also be here.
Freeze him, freeze him, freeze him. He can't go anywhere now.
Move. Move. If you don't wanna die, move if you don't wanna. Alright, he got more. Yeah, boy.
Hey, I got holy. I got holy hell.
No! I found. Yes, hello, hello, yes, yes, hello.
Hold on.
Rip the atmosphere, boys, rip it!
Hold on a second. You have been a very bad boy, Vipsa. You
and recall. Morning, Lewis. You've got to know something about forces, Jensen. Morning, Evie. Even if it's really, really basic stuff, anything you can think of to do with forces. Yeah. Yeah, that is something to do with forces, Evie. Good. What's going to be the forces involved in that one then, Lewis? Yes, Jake, that's one. There is going to be some friction, yeah. Thrust, good, Thomas. Tension, yes, Amelia. Magnitude and direction are linked to forces, good. So when we're talking about magnitude, guys, what do we mean? It does remain stationary unless acted upon by a force. Those forces, Finn, do they have to be balanced or unbalanced? Hi, Taylor. Good. Yep, it does, Finn. Good. Gravity, thanks, Amelia. No worries, Taylor. Okay, guys, so we do have a good idea about forces. So let's see what else we can think of. So, I wouldn't put static electricity down as a force, Tom, but definitely the electromagnetic one, like Amelia mentioned, that one's going to be our force, and it's going to be a non-contact one. There are three definitions on the board: speed, velocity, and acceleration. So when we're talking about speed, it's just how fast something is going. Velocity, it's how fast it is, but we also have what direction it's going. So velocity is linked to what Evie said, where she said magnitude and direction. So we know how fast it is. We also know what direction it's going in. And then acceleration is the rate of change of velocity. If you do not know the definitions for any of those, can you write them down for me, please? I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Which bit, Jensen? Did you know any of those definitions? Then you need to write them all down. So scalar fin is just the magnitude of something. So speed is scalar because we only know how fast we are going. Vector is where we know the magnitude and direction. So velocity is a vector one. Jensen, if I need to mute you, I will mute you. Okay. Right, guys, next one. So there are different forces that are about to come up on the screen. Please don't put your answers in the chat yet because I want to get some people who haven't said anything yet involved as well. So we have a person standing on the ground, a person falling through the air, a car on the what would be a road, and a ship on the water. So could Alyssa tell me one of them if they are contact or non-contact forces, please? It's up to you if you unmute yourself or type. It doesn't matter which one, pick one and tell me if you think it's contact or a non-contact force. So, gravity, does it have to be touching things to work? Or can it just be all around us?
Yes, we like.
So think about the Earth and the Moon. The Earth has a gravitation effect on the Moon and vice versa. Good. So does it have to be touching? So contact or non-contact? Good. Okay. Ruby, we've done gravity. Pick one of the other three for me, please, and tell me if you think it's contact or non-contact. The one on the car is a contact one, but it's not air resistance. If you look at where it's pointing, what do you think the force might be for that one? Yeah, it is. It's friction. Well done, you two. Yeah. Good, Thomas. Okay, so Jensen, we've said so far the gravity one, so the person stood on the ground. Gravity doesn't have to be touching us to work, so it's a non-contact force. Whereas if we've got... If you look at the car, which is the one that Ruby picked, it's pointing at the tyre, so it's friction. They have to be touching, so that one is a contact force. Jake, yes, the man is air resistance. Sorry, Finn. So are we going to say that was contact or non-contact, Finn? Yeah, because the air particles are going to be in contact with you. Good. And then the boat one, we've got a few ideas. We've said water resistance or upthrust. Buoyancy, yeah. So upthrust, buoyancy, they can be called the same. They can be interchangeable. Does that have to be in contact with the boat to keep it on top of the water? Yes, good, Ruby. So it does have to be in contact. So that is our contact force. Finn, water resistance is works in the same way as air resistance. It will slow it down. So it's a type of drag. It slows everything down. So very, very quickly in your books, sort out those 6 into whether you think they are contact or non-contact. Or wherever it is that you're writing. If you're doing it on computer, wherever it is, doesn't matter. Okay, guys, so 30 more seconds because that one should be nice and simple based on what we've just done. Okay, so Ellie, can you give me one of the forces you've put in your contact column, please? Good, yep, friction goes in contact. Lewis, can you give me one of the forces you've put in non-contact, please? Okay, so when we are falling through the air, have we got air particles hitting us? Wrong person, but yeah, you are correct, Jake. So, Lewis, if we've got air particles hitting us, are they coming into contact with us? Yeah, good. Shay, no. Or I will mute you. Okay, so our air resistance is going to be one of our contact ones just because those particles are touching us, okay? They contact us. So, therefore, can Katie give me something that's in the non-contact column for me, please? So we've said friction and air resistance are contact. So what would go in non-contact, Katie? Okay, so look at those forces that are written on the screen. Are any of those forces things that don't have to touch them? Things that don't have to be touching you or whatever it is it's acting on? Yes, good. If we hold a magnet by the fridge, you can still feel some of the force even if it's not directly touching the fridge. Good, Katie. So magnetic force goes in non-contact. Taylor. So we've said where friction goes, we've said where air resistance goes, we've said where magnetic force goes. Pick one of the other three and tell me which column you've put them in. Yes, good. Tension does go in contact. Well done, Taylor. I will unmute you two in 2 minutes. If you can prove to me after that you can behave. Right, so we've said where friction, air resistance, tension and magnetic force go. We've got gravitational forces and electromagnetic forces left. Okay, they go in the same column. So is anybody willing to tell me? Oh, right, Jake's already jumped on that one. Electromagnetic force is non-contact, good. And gravitation is non as well. Good, Finn. Yes, Amelia. Well done. So, one of the things that Finn asked earlier was about scalar and vector. Okay, so I'm going to assume most of you were not sure about this one. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to write down those definitions. Okay, so our scalar quantities have a size, so we know how big or how small they are. vector quantities, we have a size and we know what direction they're going. So if we were to say the car was travelling forwards at 30 miles an hour, that would be vector. If we just said the car was going 30 miles an hour, scalar. So, based on that idea, there are 7, which should be pretty easy to sort, and then there's 6 more at the bottom that are a little bit more complicated, a little bit trickier. Can you sort all those words into scalar and vector? I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to do it. Any that you're not sure about, miss out for now, and then when we go through the answers, you'll be able to fill it back in. So do we, when we talk about acceleration, Finn, do we say do we know what direction we're going? For you to accelerate, do you need to go in a specific direction? Could it be in any direction? Okay, so for acceleration, we need to go forwards. Yeah? It's going to start pushing whatever it is in a forwards direction. Yeah. So are we scalar or are we vector? Have I given you? Yeah, because I've given you a direction. Okay, Jensen, so if we were talking about the speed of something, do we know what direction it's going, or do we just know how fast it's going? Okay, so if we don't know direction, we only know how fast. Is it scalar or vector? Okay, so if we don't know the direction it's going in, so there's no direction, it must be scalar. If we know the direction it's going in, then it's going to be vector. Okay, Evie. So did you get why speed goes in scalar? Okay. So if you look at temperature, okay, so we'll take one of the trickier ones. Do we have any idea about direction for temperature, or do we just know how hot or cold something is? Okay, Amelia, why do you think temperature is scalar? You are correct, Finn, but you changed your name, because I did say Amelia. But yeah, no direction. We only know how hot or cold something is. Yeah, good. So, looking at the answers. Distance. We only know, I know you do, Finn, you do it all the time. We only know how far something's gone. We don't necessarily know what direction it is it's gone in to get there. Speed, as we've said, only know how fast. Mass, we only know how much of something there is. We've got no direction. Power, no direction. So all of those ones, no direction. It's just how big or small something is. Displacement, it shows us direction. So it's where something has moved away from where it originally started.
I didn't write.
Velocity
You said when I was
is
writing.
very similar to speed, other than the fact that it gives us direction. Like I said, 30 miles an hour in a forwards direction would be the velocity, whereas speed would just be 30 miles an hour. Acceleration, we are going forwards, so it's got direction. Force, we know what direction it's going to be going in. So like, for example, the friction, we know what direction that force is going in. Weight is linked to gravity, and then momentum is what also has direction. It will go whatever direction based on the momentum it has. This is an example of displacement, okay? So the train route has gone from town A to town B. To calculate displacement, you calculate the distance directly between A and B. So you would draw a line between A and B and then use the scale provided to convert it. Okay, like so. I'm just giving you the example of this one today. Obviously, I'm not going to make you do it because it's going to be too tricky to do on a screen. But this is how displacement works, okay? The distance is from A to B. Displacement is the obvious way of getting there. So how small, how close it is together instead of the entire distance that's been travelled. I could walk around the entire classroom. That would be my distance, but my displacement would be from where I am to where I ended up in a straight line. Another thing that you would have looked at when you did the forces was Newton's laws of motion. So an object will remain at rest or in uniform motion in a straight line unless acted upon by an external force. very, very simply put, if we don't change the forces on an object, it's going to carry on doing exactly the same thing. If an unbalanced force acts on an object, that object will either accelerate or change direction. And we can work out acceleration by using one of Newton's equations. Basically, if we change the forces, something's going to happen to that object. And then the third one, when a force acts upon an object, there is an equal force acting in the opposite direction. If I hit you at 30 miles an hour, you will hit me at 30 miles an hour. Okay? For Newton's second law of motion, so an unbalanced force acting on an object will either accelerate or change direction. We calculate acceleration using that formula in that triangle that's just turned up, okay? Force equals mass times acceleration. It is worth noting that one down. It comes up quite a lot when it comes to exams. So force equals mass times acceleration. Which bit, Jake? You're going to say all of it now, aren't you? The triangle. So F stands for force, M stands for mass, A stands for acceleration. So if you cover up F, as I want to work out what force is, you do M times A, mass times acceleration. If you cover up M, I want to work out mass, so I do force divided by acceleration. And if I cover up A, I want to work out acceleration, I do force divided by mass. Okay, I find it easier in a triangle because you can work it out how to change it all around in the triangle. But the obvious one that comes up is force equals mass times acceleration.
Miss, what does uniform motion mean?
So it carries on moving exactly the same. So if a car's going 30 miles an hour, unless we change the forces, it will carry on going 30 miles an hour in that direction without anything changing. So it's keeping that motion exactly the same.
Okay, thanks.
No worries. Finn, Jake, do I need to mute you too? Okay, so like I said, force equals mass times acceleration, and that force is either push or pull, and it can be contact or non-contact. We always measure it in newtons, okay? So 1 Newton is the force required to accelerate 1 kilogram of mass by 1 meter per squared second. That's where that equation is derived from. You don't have to worry about the divisions. You just need to know how to use it. Okay. So there are 6 questions. I want you to do the first 2, please. Okay, guys, so first question. We have a car with a mass of 750 kilograms. It's accelerating at 20 meters per second squared. Abby, how do you do that? How do you work out what the force is? So how would you use those two pieces of information and the equation that we've spoken about to work out force? You can talk or you can type, I don't mind. I was asking Abby, how can we use the equation that we've just looked at, and the information in question 1? No, it's the chair. The squeak spin. Information in question 1 to work out what the force is. Okay, can somebody help Abby out? Question 1, what do we do?
Times 750 kilograms by 20 meters.
Per second squared. Yeah, you do. 750 times by 20. So yeah, you do need the triangle, Finn. So 750 times by 20. Anybody got an answer for that one for me?
Is it 15,000?
Okay, question 2. Finn, question 2. What did you do? Okay, so how would you do question 2? Person of a mass of 55 kilograms is riding a bike with a mass of 35 kilograms down a hill. So yeah, you add those two together, that gives us 90 kilograms. Then what are we going to do? And then times it by 1.25. Good. I haven't got a calculator. I'm thinking. Nope, you were right. Times it. I've got 112.5, but I've done that without a calculator, so I might be wrong for that one. Okay. So. One of the things that Evie mentioned at the beginning was resultant forces. Okay, so there can be lots and lots of forces on something at once, but the resultant force is adding them all together to work out what happened. Okay, good, Amelia. So if there's 10 newtons in the downwards direction 10 newtons in the upwards direction, the resultant force is going to be 0. Okay? So for this one, we have 2,000 newtons in the forward direction, 500 newtons in the reverse direction. What would be our resultant force and which direction would it go? So remember, in the first one it was 10 newtons up, 10 newtons down. It gave us overall 0.
Miss, do you add them or do you take them away?
Take away, sorry, I said that wrong the first time round. We're taking away. Force, for the ones you just did, Finn, you were calculating force, so your units would be newtons. Yes, Tom, and which direction? Not long, Jensen, don't worry. And yes, Thomas, forward, good. So it would be the thrust direction, yes, Amelia. So we're going to end up doing 2,000, take away 500, and that gives us 1,500 newtons to the right as our resultant force. Okay, finish off with, I'm just going to go through gravitational potential, energy. So, when you lift an object up, okay, energy is transferred from your muscles into the gravitational potential energy of the object. So in the example there, the weightlifter, those weights now have a gravitational potential energy. Okay, it's linked to two seconds, Jensen. I'll go through this and then I'll put that slide back on. It's linked to where that object is in the Earth's gravitational field. Okay, so we can use that for calculations as well. That one, Jensen. Okay guys, reminder for those of you who have not done it, that assignment is due for Friday. Thank you to those of you who have already done it. Some of you have missed out the 6-mark question at the end though. Right, if you have no further questions, you are free to go and I will see you in Friday's lesson.
Wait, Miss, how do I send the assignment to you?
So it should just be you click on it and answer the questions and it should just let you do it, Thomas. So if you go into the Teams, thanks Jensen, you too, and open the assignment, it should automatically send it once it's done.
Okay, then it should have sent.
Yeah.
Bye, have a nice day.
And you, Tom, bye.
Damn. Hello, you have hello, you have bad stuff in here. If you don't unlock the door, I'm gonna get you banned. I can see in the detector you have bad stuff. So you technically not the space is building and it's not allowed. I know you're there. If you don't unknow this, you will get warned. On my detector, I do see illegal item. No, you have to open up. If you're building, you'll. I'm not going to destroy anything, but if you don't let me in, I will report you for foul RP. So it's that or one. And if you get too many ones, you get a ban. Come on, be an abiding citizen. I know you have a printer in that corner right there. I can see it with my detector. If you don't unknow this, hello. I had something pop up on my radar. What? I swear I... What's that? Ow, I'm stuck.
base. I've got a DL so I can protect us.
bro. Yeah. Well done it, bro. on the topic of letters, today we're making sure that when we structure a formal letter, we didn't do it yesterday, that we use the right structure. So, your DNA for today. Just got to find the thingy for you. Both this PowerPoint and the resource that you need for today are in the class materials folder. You should be doing your DNAs on the meeting section, on the chat section here, and then you should be writing your longer tasks in your books. Okay, so where are we going? Just looking for the PowerPoint. Sorry, 2 secs. God. I've not opened it. Sorry, guys, 2 secs. Key stage 3. Yeah, no. Hi, Jaden. So, I'm going to share the PowerPoint with you now. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do the DNA. You can use the chat function. And then we're going to check our... Right. So use a whole page in your book for this one. Actually, you can do it. To draw what you think, draw and label the layout of a letter. So using the full page... Share that with you now. Go on. Sorry about this. Open. Oh, there it is. Okay. You should be able to see the DNA now. Using a whole page in your book, draw and label where you think all the things at the top of the page, where you think the date goes, where you think your address goes, where you think you don't need to write them out, okay? But you need to tell me, draw. You can take a picture if you can. Draw and label where your address, their address, date, letter title, and dear, and the greeting goes. Give you 3 minutes to do that. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong. That's what we're focusing on today. Okay? Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Hands up if you can see the PowerPoint. Good. So use a full page in your book to label where you think those things go. Okay? Can you hear me now, James? James, can you hear me?
Sir, I don't get it.
So if you're writing a letter, Jaden, where
Yeah.
would you put your address? Where would you put their address? Doesn't matter if you've never done it before. I will tell you that you've got Google at home, haven't you? So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, so you could put the layout of a letter.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Anybody that wants to take a picture, Jake, I know you're really good with your pictures. If you want to drop them into the meeting in the chat section, you can do. I'm only going to give you another minute to do that because it's only you're not writing out made up dates and names. You just tell me where things go, okay? Your address here, their address there, date there, okay, etc. $30 left, okay? No. God. Hi guys, are you still there? Put your hands, guys, put your hands up if you can hear me. Good. Sorry, I think it just froze then. Can you still see the PowerPoint? Somebody talk to me. Thomas, can you still see the PowerPoint? Jaden, are you still there?
I can still see it, sir.
All right, good. Did it freeze for a bit?
No, it's fine.
All right, okay.
No, I can see it too.
All right, sound is a pound. Right, we're going to finish there. My end, it froze for a little bit. Okay, so. Did anybody take a picture of it? Did anybody show me a picture of it? Jake, show me where you think things are. Because I know you can do that. And then we're going to mark Jake's against the actual one. So if you go into, Jake, you send a picture and post it. Everybody else, if you go into the class materials, so if you go to Teams and then Files, okay. So go down to the bottom. We did this yesterday. Go into class materials. Go to, sorry, no, Files. It's just straight in Files, okay? Go to Teams. Scaffolding sheet for lesson 3, okay? If you click on that, it'll tell you where everything needs to go. And you can mark yours against it then. So, let's have a look. Can everybody open up Jake's picture? So he's put your address there, their address. Has he put the date in the right place? Can anybody tell me? So if you go into Files, you'll see where everything should be. Actually, I'll share it for you now. So, just to make that a little bit easier. Okay. Close